Welcome to the conclusion of Milk Wars. Now, so that you understand what is going on, because this is going to get crazy real fast, Milk Wars takes place in an alternate weird world timeline of the DC universe known as Young Animal. Things like Doom Patrol, Cave Carson as a cybernetic eye, and Shade the Changing Girl all happen in the Young Animal imprint. And they've been battling against a corporation known as Retcon, who has the ability to retcon a timeline to make it more marketing friendly. This company has gone back to the main DC universe and changed things to be like a 1950s perfect family-friendly marketing world. They turned Wonder Woman into Wonder Wife, Batman into Father Bruce, and Superman into Milkman Man. And now that they've all been freed, Batman is Batman, Wonder Woman is Wonder Woman, and Doom Patrol is Doom Patrol, it's time for the superheroes to take the fight to Retcon. They are going to go to this other multiverse world and fight the company that has been making everything super weird in DC. We're going to begin our story telling you where Cave Carson has been this entire time and how he's been recruiting everyone to join the Milk Wars. And then the conclusion to Milk Wars will happen. It's been a crazy ride. It's time for the conclusion to Milk Wars. It was another day in the Retcon offices as Chloe began to make her rounds, making sure that all of the staff had their milk for the day. As she stops by her father Cave's cubicle, he takes his carton of milk and he gets ready to drink, but his stomach begins to rumble as he puts it down. Chloe tells Cave that he needs to make sure that he drinks his milk, and another voice shouts that it's because it's good for you. Chloe turns around, throwing her hands in the air, asking security guard Jake if they're under arrest. And Jake says, well, she is blocking the aisle. But he'll let it slide. Even the chief of security needs a lunch break. You in? Cave tells him that he's not sure if he's hungry, but he could use a break. Later, as the three of them head over to the cafeteria, Chloe and Jake begin to eat their lunch, and Cave begins to sweat, stating that he's not feeling too good. Just behind them, a woman goes to drink her milk, and a small cybernetic eye breaks out of the carton and begins to crawl all over the woman. The eye then jumps onto Chloe, and while everyone is distracted, Cave gets up and runs over to the salad vending machine and begins to get handfuls of greens. After stuffing himself full, he begins to throw it all back up, except the greens begin to grow and they begin to spread. Vines begin to grab onto people, and as Chloe tries to help the people who are grabbed, she stops to see the vegetable versions of herself, father, and Jake. The three vegetable people begin to talk amongst themselves, and Jake the vegetable says that whatever they're going to do, they'd better do it fast. One of the people who are grabbed by the vines begins to talk, stating that it was a clever plan. Humans are so very, very clever. We were supposed to keep you here until the boss came back, but now it looks like it's time for me to punch out. Pleasant dreams. As the vines tighten, it squeezes the man's head until milk sprays out, and Swamp Thing rips the man apart, stating, "Hello, old friend." Jake grabs a fork, shouting over his radio that they have a code 3, but as Swamp Thing begins to grab him, he squeezes the milk out of him. Next, he does the same for Chloe, and Cave tells her that it's okay. Swamp Thing is getting the crap out of her system. She leans back up, asking why is she wearing a sweater vest and what have they done to her? Cave then asks Swamp Thing what was he doing living in his stomach, and Swamp Thing tells him that he was only doing what he was asked to do. He had called him to help identify this mysterious building, far from the settlements of man. It was poisoning the ecosystem. It was here that he heard of the Dreamers, tortured souls trapped inside of this building, and they were trying to free themselves from those called Retcon. Just then, another Retcon employee breaks down a door, shouting that they must kill them. Cave jumps into the vents, and Chloe asks what about the others, and Swamp Thing gives Chloe a flower, stating that she needs to go. With that flower, he'll be able to locate them later. After a bit of crawling, Cave, Carson, and Chloe locate an abandoned building with mounds of papers stacked everywhere. Cave hops down, letting his cybernetic eye go through the system, and he begins to get the records of how Retcon has been creating stories as old as time, all to promote truth and marketing the Retcon way. But the more that Cave looks, the more that he realizes that Retcon is selling everything, including their dreams. What is Milkman Man doing here? Just then, Chloe shouts, and as she runs back, dozens of little figures begin to chase after her, and she yells, asking if he's seeing this too. The figures begin to overrun Cave, and as he picks one up, it begins to crumble, revealing a fleshy inside. Cave rushes the one that he's holding, and then there's an explosion from out of the vent, and it begins to rain green liquid, and as Swamp Thing begins to pull himself back together, he says that he told them that he would find them. Chloe says that's nice, but what about Jack? And Swamp Thing points up, and from the vents, Jack jumps out shouting that what they're looking at is the brand new Wild Dog. Together with my team of Growlers, we're gonna end this. Cave and Chloe begin to fight off the Growlers, and Swamp Thing punches Jack in the face, knocking off his mask. It sparks, it cracks, and Jack asks, what the hell? Where am I? And Cave says, don't worry, you're back now. Cave then says that he found out where they need to go next. These people have been dealing with what may be monsters, but they have a sense of humor. Cave leads everyone to human resources. A giant machine is filled with hundreds of humans siphoning off their thoughts. Chloe asks if they're alive, and Swamp Thing tells her, not in the way that they should be. Swamp Thing sits down stating that there are so many voices, too many emotions going on at once. And Cave asks, what are they gonna do to shut this down? And Swamp Thing tells him, perhaps you can join me in the psychic plane to help decipher this message. Swamp Thing creates a small bundle of flowers and Jack burns them, allowing everyone to breathe its aroma. Everyone closes their eyes and they begin to see the people within the machine, all of them authors and artists, all of their emotions crying out in pain. Retcon is using their creativity to fuel the process of milk brainwashing. It's art killing art, and all of them stating, kill us. At that moment, Cave reaches down to unplug the machine, and as he falls to the ground, he begins to speak to his cybernetic eye. 24 hours ago, the Earth element known as Swamp Thing and I discovered the home office of Retcon. This is the message that has been spread out throughout the multiverse back to the home world for Wonder Woman, Superman, and Batman. Seconds later, everyone gets back up to their feet and there's a bang coming from one of the doors. Cave pushes his eye back in and Jack says that if Swamp Thing can grind up all of the dead bodies here, he can make a fertilizer bomb that'll put an end to this. Cave gives him the thumbs up, telling him it's a solid plan. Let's end this nightmare. And once Swamp Thing pulls all of the bodies into a container, he grinds them up. Jack uses a small explosive to then blow up the entire server room. And Cave then hands his cybernetic eye to Chloe, telling her to listen closely. They need to get out of here. Everyone needs to stay back and make sure that nothing is left. Chloe says that he can't, it would be suicide, and Cave says that she needs to trust him. He's given the cybernetic eye instructions on what to do. Now get out of here with Jack. Swamp Thing grabs a hold of Chloe and Jack and jumps out of the hole in the wall, telling him, good luck, my friend. Cave says that he won't need it. He'll see them soon. And as they leave, he sighs, stating, please forgive me, Chloe. He turns back to the door and he opens it and walks into a group of monsters all looking at them. All right, take me to your leader. But now that we know how it all began, now we know how all of the heroes came together, we know what Milk Wars is. Let's end this story. Deep within one of the retcon closets, a scream can be heard as Cave Carson is shot in the shoulder with a thin beam of light. Milkman Man tells Cave that he knows that he sent his eye off before he was captured. He will ask again, where is it? And how long do you think you can last against retcon's Superman? Cave groans in pain and he says that he's known Superman for a long time. But if there's one thing that he taught him, it was to never give up. They can do this all day. Milkman Man focuses the shot, cutting into Cave's ear, telling him, I know I'm a bad copy, but I'm their bad copy. All I am is lies marketing in the retcon way. Milkman Man grabs Cave by the other ear, shouting, where are they? Where did Swamp Thing go? And how did you free the Dreamers? How did you even find retcon? Cave tells him it must have been a fortune cookie, and Milkman Man's eyes begin to glow red. He says, I could kill you 1,000 times, adjust it, and do it again. Escaping is hopeless. But just then a small object shoots into the room and Milkman Man catches it, asking, what is this? He looks at the cybernetic eye and Cave laughs, telling him, it looks like I have something in my eye. At that moment, the JLA and the Doom Patrol materialize out of the eye, destroying everything around them, pushing Milkman Man away. Flex grabs onto Milkman Man and Milkman Man asks him, can't you weirdos stop following me? You shouldn't have come here. You saw me cry. I was a retcon copy, born of a blank reality shattering infant. And Jane shouts, that's why we're here to help you. You're as much of a victim as any of us. Milkman Man says, you came to see me sink even lower than Happy Harbor. I'm not the victim. He rushes to punch Cave, but his punch is caught, and Diana, Wonder Woman, tells him that there is no shame in being manipulated, but there is strength in surviving it. Milkman Man shouts for her to let go, and Diana says no. He deserves to be loved, not on the whims of a selfish conglomerate like Retcon. Please, let us help you. As the two struggle for power, Milkman Man says that he doesn't need help from a Greek centerfold. I've got all the help that I need. The Retcon brand. Just then the walls are destroyed as giant rampaging monsters burst in, roaring, and meanwhile upstairs in the presentation room, Khan is hearing all of the noises and he says that it sounds like they've got some ants in the walls. This is a discount discourse. Hardcore haggling. Why should my client buy Prime Earth when it's clearly running wild? Are you selling me a lemon, Retcon? The presenter says that is not the case at all. They have a failsafe for just these kinds of situations. Back in the closet, Diana fights with Milkman Man, and he asks, "Where's your husband? The men need to talk about what you're doing." And then another voice calls out to Milkman Man, "Son." Milkman Man stops in case he tells him, "Just wait, it's me, your mother or father, depending on how you look at it. But you know it's the truth. You don't deserve any of this. Me and Terry didn't know that we could have had you. You should be loved no matter what." Over in the presentation room, more shaking and rumbling can be heard, and Khan says that he knows of the brow quiver. This is my favorite part of the deal: desperation. The presenter stands up and shouts, "I have a counteroffer. If you and your client sanitize this infestation, we'll consider Prime Earth paid in full." Khan says that he'll make a call. One moment! While the fighting gets closer, Khan makes a call and then he hangs up, and the presenter asks, "How about it?" Khan shouts, "It's been decided. Sorry, champ. Negotiations are over. No sale. We have way bigger problems than spilled milk." As the noises get closer, Diana punches a monster from before into the presentation room, and the presenter shouts, "For the love of, they're coming from all sides! We're trapped in here. We all know what we have to do. Bring out the ultimate failsafe." Everyone knocks out the giant monster, and Cliff says, "All right, you press shirts punks, your daily shows are over." The presenter reaches into his pocket, telling him, "That's tough talk coming from a copy, but I have something that's gonna fix this up right now." The presenter pulls out a small device and tells them that this is the ultimate refresh button for all of the multiverse. If you get any closer, I'm gonna wipe Prime Earth out like a magnet to a hard drive. One of the presenters tells him, "Hang on, that thing's supposed to be a deterrent, not actually used." And the presenter grits his teeth, telling the other person that if they can't sell Prime Earth, no one can! And he presses the button. Back downstairs, Casey sits with Milkman Man talking about his life, when they suddenly notice the world around them is burning and it's fading away. Casey asks what's going on. It's like everything is burning away at the edges. And Milkman Man says, "Retcon is liquidating their assets." Casey then asks, "So if they couldn't turn people, they're just gonna end the world?" And Milkman Man tells her, "No, nothing that small. They're ending everything, the entire multiverse." Casey gets up telling them to stop this somehow. And Milkman Man holds her hand telling her, "No, this is it. This is the end, and I've never seen anyone naked." Back at the presentation room, Shade looks at the burning spots and says that she didn't think her second death would be so plush and mundane. The large presenter shouts, "You've lost your mind!" And the first presenter yells, "No, he isn't the only one who hasn't. Prime Earth is way past its sell date." Batman tells them, "Reality is popping like a balloon over a candle. This is beyond anything that we've ever faced before, but we have someone for this. All of your life you fought the mystery with truth, and now it's time to fight mystery with mystery. Muscle mystery. We need Flex Mentallo." Flex tells him, "I'm flattered and all, but I'm just a superhero that's too in love with my own ridiculous body. I flex my trap and a bomb becomes a niche. Pulse my lat and the pentagon becomes a circle. But saving reality itself, I'm not sure anyone can flex that hard." Batman places his hand on Flex's shoulder and he tells him, "And?" So Flex goes on telling him, "There is enough power. One so dangerous that I've never used it before. Inflation intensity." Vixen yells, "Whatever you need to do, flex or inflate, do it hard enough to hit that reset button." Dinah then says, "More like defibrillate reality, really." Everyone begins to focus their energy and they give Flex all that they can, and they inflate everyone so that they can give reality the shock that it needs to repair itself. Suddenly, they hear life being shocked and everything begins to turn white, and with that, the world begins to rebuild itself. Pages start to be written. There's another, though, on the outside of everything, and her name is Rita Farr. Rita pulls herself into the strip with the rest of the JLA and the Doom Patrol, joining the comic universe, and then there's a loud bang. Adam looks around, and he asks if anyone else here is having a really weird day or is it just him? And Dinah tells him that he's right. It's like when you dream and you wake up 4 seconds before the alarm is about to go off. We were just in a fight, weren't we? Jane then says it's like half memories that don't quite fit. Like Rita there, she wasn't in any of the memories. But that's not true, right? Rita tells everyone that she's been here since the beginning, but whatever's happened, her memory of it is just as elastic as the rest of her. There was Retcon, a reality real estate corporation. They wanted them all to be the safest, cleanest versions of themselves, all to make it easier to sell. And Casey asks, "So that means we won, right? The world around us is still strange, but so are we." Another voice tells them, "Things sure are, and some of them are stranger than others." Everyone looks over to see Cliff, no longer the robot man, but a human version of himself. He goes on stating that he doesn't remember much, but he knew that he was fake. And whatever the who he was, Robot Man's realer than dirt now that Retcon's out of the picture. Diana sees Casey walk alone. She tells her that her team fought well. And Casey looks up with a partial memory, telling her that she feels like there's something else. A sad voice. She thinks that she may have had a child, but it's all nothing. Diana reaches out and says that the holes in their hearts cannot be named, but they may always have to find ways to fill them. Casey tells her thank you for her support, and with that, everyone looks out at the ocean, not realizing that now, the Milk Wars are officially over.